Welcome back to Playtime with Olivia at Bluegrass Nursery. I have these beautiful plants to create my canvas. This is my art project that I'm going to do today for you guys. And we're going to play some more with the orchids because we have them and they're gorgeous and they just came in, so you don't want to miss out on them. So we're going to plant up this beautiful black plastic pot with a bunch of orchids and a few partners just to make this a gorgeous centerpiece, maybe for a corporate table, a bruncheon, a backdrop for anything that you have going on. We do all kinds of custom containers and we really enjoy doing them and have a lot of fun because we have all of these plants to choose from. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. So you'll see this nice little bowl, plastic pot bowl. I've lined it already with some good potting mix, and this is designed for container gardening. We want good drainage. There's a drainage hole in the pot, so we will have to make sure that there's a tray or something underneath it so that all that funky soil doesn't end up on your beautiful oak table. But you do want to ensure to have some drainage. And I'm going to cheat a little bit because I'm going to mix two different types of plants together that need a little bit different growing medium, a bit of different care. So by cheating, I'm going to use this core liner that normally you would use in a hanging basket, but we get creative here. And I'm just going to push it into that soil that I've previously prepped. Maybe give it a little bit more room because I want it to just disappear. I don't want you guys to know all my tricks when you come and buy a pot like this that's finished. And the center is actually going to be a bunch of orchids. We're going to make this a splash of waterfall color. So I'm going to put my orchid media right in this center pot. A little bit of a trick that we have going on here. And because this potentially could be temporary for this inner feature here, I'm actually going to leave our orchids in the little containers that they came in. That way, if we need to change it out before this gets used, we can just pop out these little pots with no trouble. And I'm just going to set the orchids in like this. I want all big, beautiful, showy ones. Most cases we'll make sure that the tag comes off, but for demonstration purposes, we're just going to leave them on for now. And I'm going to set them in the center. I think I'm going to put one more in here. Let's find another nice, big, showy one. I think I'll use one of these guys because we're going to keep it all the same. You'll notice if I do containers that I like to use many of the same thing all together just to create impact. So those are 3 orchids now that I've tucked in here because one just wouldn't quite cut it in this big size of pot. So you always want to consider how many plants with the size of the pot. You want the scale to be correct. And now because I've cheated by putting that outer layer with soil, this is going to need a little bit more orchid medium. Maybe we can dress that up. I think I have something else here we can use. I'm going to use some clay pebbles because it'll still provide the aeration for the orchids. And dress it up a little bit. So very lightweight clay pebbles, all available in our orchid supply corner. And that's actually going to finish it off really nice and still benefit the plants that we planted here. Keep things tidy. There's a reason we like to invite you guys to Bluegrass to do planter workshops and things, because you can make the mess here. We sweep it up afterwards. So make sure all those air roots are exposed. I'll keep a little bit in case I need it. We'll tidy up that soil because now you can see those orchids are taking center stage. Now I'm going to add some beautiful new pothos. We've got a great shipment in again. All of your favorites have arrived this week, so stop in. Anytime I plant anything into another pot, I'm going to make sure that the roots are a little bit teased, a little bit broken up. Otherwise, those roots continue to grow in that circle and choke it out. They maintain a root memory. And I'm going to put a nice drape of pothos. Because this is going to be a bit more of a formal setting in this container, I'm going to make sure we keep everything nice and even. Generally, my style of gardening is haphazard, so I'll just put plants together because I like them, but in this kind of setting, I want it all to be about the orchids. We're going to show them off. Tease some more, and you can see the mess I continue to make. And it's already coming together. I'm going to add one more pothos. Knock things over. And because not everyone is into white, maybe they want a bit more color, what we can do is to shake it up is just add a little bit of pink orchid. Maybe we get a really cute Tradescantia or wandering dude, and that's going to add some more color. But I'm going to keep this one nice and serene and carry on with the white theme and use some of these beautiful spider plants. Often in landscaping, we want to use uneven numbers, 1s, 3s, and 5s. But again, in this setting, we're all about just showing off those gorgeous orchids. And I want some pretty spillers. This is going to be great at an office front desk. Still teasing those roots if they need it. Stuffing them in. Everybody gets a little excited about how rough I handle plants. They can hack it. Things like African violets, begonias, anything with a tender stem, you have to be a little bit more careful, but spider plants, pothos, even orchids, don't get too excited. Let's get rid of a bit of the soil. And last but not least, we'll just finish this off with one more spider plant. And this is where maybe, you rethink when the pretty white rock went in. Maybe it's easier to dress and keep the soil out of your nice space. Always take your time. I've rushed through this one just to show you how much fun orchids and all of our tropical plants are. Use up the rest of that bag. Give this a really good drink, and voila, you've got yourself a beautiful, serene orchid centerpiece for any occasion. Thank you. All right, so ultimate care. You may have learned in previous videos with us that orchids need good aeration to their roots. I've left all of that peat moss in that I told you to maybe get rid of. This is more or less a temporary exhibit. This one is so easy now to pop these out and say if it was the end of the season, maybe at Christmas time, this could actually be now a poinsettia, or this could be a mum in the fall. These I would consider a temporary growth. Enjoy the blooms while they last. When you give them a good drink, make sure you're getting water into each of the pots. You don't want to pop these orchids out because you're gonna mess up your display here. Just make sure everything's getting a good drink at least once a week. And with most things, depending on what location they're sitting at, if it's in a bright sunny office, maybe it's in a church setting where it's not getting a bunch of natural bright light, you always actually want to get your hands on the soil. You want to get your hands on the plants. If there feels like there's enough moisture in the soil, it's fine. Rule of thumb though, again, once a week. If once a week is your watering day, make sure this gets a good drink. We've got good drainage. If you don't have a tray to put it on, take it to your sink if you can lift it. There's a little bit of weight to that pot now, but a stunner. I think anyone would be proud to add this to their table.